Hello, Gooner Network, coming in with some good news for everybody here. It looks like we are closing in on the signing of Oleksandr Zinchenko for £13 million from Manchester City. Now, there's a few things that really stand out to me about this deal. I think that it's testament to the work that Arteta and Edu are doing when it comes to squad building. Because this is a very, very good signing all around. We were linked with a similar player in Lisandro Martinez for the entire start and entire opening of the transfer window. He looks good. He can play left back, center half, can play defensive mid. These were all areas that we needed coverage for. He was looking to be a good signing. I think a lot of us were really excited about him. We started throwing in some bids as a club for him. And then I think we all knew that once United started getting linked with him, that the deal looked way less certain. And a bidding war started brewing. All of a sudden, things were getting rejected. The price shot all the way up to £54 million. Now, Lisandro Martinez looks like a very good player. Is he worth £54 million? I don't think so. To me, that is a classic Manchester United overpay. And I'm good that we didn't go in for him at that expensive rate, at that premium rate. Instead, we went for plan B. Oleksandr Zinchenko at 30 mil with another 2 million add-ons, according to Fabrizio Romano. Now, there's a lot of really good things about this player. Number one, there's the Arteta connection. I think that it seems like Zinchenko was really keen on the move because he likes the idea of playing with Arteta. We know for a fact that Arteta is well liked in that Manchester City dressing room. He has been for a very long time with the players in the mold of Sterling, Leroy Sané, Gabriel Jesus, and now Zinchenko has come out and explicitly said as well, or been rumored to have said, through reputable sources, that he is looking forward to Arteta, wanted to reunite with Arteta. And I think that is testament to the impact that Mikel Arteta has as a coach. Now, there's a very clear difference between whether we're talking about Mikel Arteta the coach and Mikel Arteta the manager. But I think it's becoming clear that it's undeniable that as a coach, Mikel Arteta is one of the best in the game right now. I think he's one of the trendiest names in terms of football coaching. Let's say if he were to get sacked from Arsenal's managerial position tomorrow, almost any club in the world would be jumping at the bit to bring him in as an assistant coach or as some onto the coaching staff in some role or another, because he has a proven track record of improving players like the aforementioned, the Sterlings, the Sanes, the Jesuses, but also Phil Foden, Bukayo Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, Gabby Martinelli. These are all forwards that have taken big steps under his tutelage. Not to mention other young players in the likes of Tomiyasu, Gabriel Majalis. There's a bunch of different players all over the pitch who have improved under his tutelage. And I think that that's really testament to just how good he is at the actual coaching role of the job. And Zinchenko was looking forward to reuniting there. A second really important point about Zinchenko and what he brings to Arsenal is his positional versatility. This man can play in midfield, as we see for Ukraine, what he does the national team, and he looks very good every single time that he plays for Ukraine, every single time that he plays in the midfield. He can also play at left back, like he does for Manchester City, for Pep. I think it looks like he might play a combination of those roles multiple times throughout the same match. I wouldn't be surprised. We all know Kieran Tierney has a bit of an injury history, misses time. He's missed time every single season he's been at Arsenal so far. He's missed significant amounts of time. I saw a statistic the other day. Tierney hasn't had a run more than 9 games in a row in the first team. He hasn't had more than 9 matches in a row in the first team. It's a really dreadful injury record there. There's question marks as to whether Nuno Tavares is up to snuff for playing backup to Kieran Tierney in the Premier League. I don't think that he's quite ready for that role, although I'm not necessarily ready to give up on the player yet either. I think he's got a lot of intangibles that you can't teach, and that are really good. He's a very raw player, and I think that he could be a very elite player one day. So I'm not quite ready to move him on necessarily, but we need coverage in that position. In steps Oleksandr Zinchenko, who has played that role for Manchester City at the highest level. He's played it for Premier League champions. He's played it in the Champions League, and in important Champions League matches, in their knockout stages, in their late knockout stages. He has played that left back position, so he can do it at a very high level. Every single manager who's worked with him in his career so far has rated him very highly. Number 3, we are getting a very, very, very tenacious player. There's a mentality monster here, and I think that he really fits into this dressing room really, really well. Arteta made a few interesting comments the other day after the game in Baltimore against Everton. I was actually at that game, by the way, and I look forward to giving you guys a breakdown of that match as well. But he made a comment along the lines talking about the captaincy, alluding to Aubameyang losing the captaincy, and how we needed to bring in new players, how that sort of behavior, how these off-field issues of a captain would not be acceptable, and that we needed new leadership, and he was looking for a new leadership core. Now, I think most fans expect Martin Odegaard to be announced as club captain very soon, and I'm very excited about that. I think he is incredible captain material. I've rated him for the armband ever since we got him on loan, and were rumored to be buying him permanently as well. I've really liked him as a signing, as a player, as a captain. That said, Oleksandr Zinchenko also brings in a lot of these leadership qualities. One of the reasons he is leaving Manchester City is because he wants to take on a bigger role at a club. They talk about the Pep rotation, Pep roulette. It is hard at Manchester City to lock down a spot. I believe 2 years ago, Ruben Diaz was one of the only players in this current generation of Man City to have played more than 35 matches in the Premier League. And that's not something that happens. That's something that's incredibly rare. And when you actually look down at the matches played, at the matches started, at the minutes played, there's about 15 to 16 different players there who are all those household names at City that we all know about, who all get right around those same amount of minutes of 28, 27, 29, 26 starts, 26 matches played. He rotates them to keep everybody fresh, to keep everybody injury-free. Now, it keeps everybody playing, it can keep the squad harmonious, but on the other hand, you get these players who really want to take on a bigger role. They aren't happy playing second fiddle, and for the past year, Zinchenko has more or less been playing second fiddle to João Cancelo, who has been playing left back with Kyle Walker on the right. It's looking like they are going to start phasing out Kyle Walker as they're linked with Marc Cucurella. So I wouldn't be surprised to see João Cancelo take on more time on the right and Marc Cucurella come in on the left again. But regardless, Zinchenko wanted to take on a bigger role not only in his playing time, but he also steps into an Arsenal dressing room that needs leadership, that needs players who have been there, who have done that, who aren't afraid, that needs older, more experienced players who are really willing to step it up. We were the youngest squad in the league last year, and that's very good, and there's lots of things to be positive and to be excited about for a young squad like that, and I think we all are. But at the same time, we needed players who were a little bit older, who needed to bring something a little bit more dynamic, a little bit different, a little bit more given, a little bit more concrete. We needed that in this transfer window. And that's largely what we've gone out and got. Gabriel Jesus, Oleksandr Zinchenko. These are two older, more experienced players coming in from top teams in the world. I mean, Manchester City, it's hard to say that they're not the best team in the world right now. They're very, very, very good in every position, in every regard. They are truly elite, truly, truly world class. And we're bringing in two of their players who, while maybe weren't their key signings, weren't their key players, weren't their most important pieces of the puzzle. They're very, very good, very talented, and we're bringing them in with all of their experience, everything that they've been. I think they've won the Premier League 5 times in the last 6 years, something like that. It was Leicester and Liverpool were the only ones since 2015 who have won the Premier League besides Manchester City. Since Pep has come into the Premier League as manager, the only sides are Liverpool won Liverpool's first Premier League title. I think Chelsea might have won one as well. So these are players who are used to winning, and we need that, we want that, and that is very, very exciting, very, very exciting, and things that we can be positive about and look forward to for the coming season. So, to wrap things up, Oleksandr Zinchenko coming in for an absolute steal of a deal. £30 million. How is that? We went from 54 million for Lisandro Martinez to 30 million for Oleksandr Zinchenko. He's Premier League proven. He's, in my opinion, more technically gifted. He's, in my opinion, more physically gifted. He's played on bigger stages in the Premier League, in the Champions League, in pretty much every aspect, because he does fill in the offer rotation in the midfield as well. You'd think in every aspect he offers a lot more than Lisandro Martinez. As far as where he's going to play, that is to be seen. I have a feeling that when healthy, Tierney will be playing at left back. Zinchenko will be playing at that left center mid spot. I think that he will be taking Granit Xhaka's place in the starting 11. I'm not certain. There's not anything to indicate that Xhaka's place is in jeopardy. There have been a few rumors that in order to sign Tielemans, we need an outgoing and a player. Xhaka kind of seems to be the midfielder who is most likely to leave this summer. That's not necessarily the case. I think that when healthy, it will be Tierney playing at left back and Zinchenko and Xhaka switching, rotating in that left-sided center mid spot, with Partey playing in the single pivot and Martin Odegaard playing as the 10 on the right-hand side of that midfield. When Tierney is out, when Tierney is injured, because let's face it, it's pretty much a given at this point that at some point he's going to miss some time, Zinchenko will most likely slot in to that left-back role, where he will be very good and very talented. And the modern fullback, I think, is a little bit different. One exciting thing about Zinchenko is that he's more of an inverted fullback, whereas Tierney plays much more as a wide fullback, as an overlapper. That said, Kieran Tierney can do it all. He can invert, he can overlap, he can do everything that you ask of him. So that's not necessarily to say that Tierney is not an inverted fullback. But he is much more keen to go around the outside and go past the player, use that pace, that quickness to beat his man one-on-one. Whereas Zinchenko is more likely to play in that left half space, sitting right behind that forward line, and pinging balls all over the place from there. And that's something that's very exciting because it gives Mikel Arteta options in a match. If something isn't working, when we're up against Chelsea, when we're up against Liverpool, Man City, when we're up against Tottenham or United or anyone else who is offering a challenge to us and we can't break them down, we can switch tactics. We have flexibility in that regard now that we didn't have last year. We really struggled when any of our starters were missing, and I think we're seeing now that we're adding depth, we're adding really quality positions. And one thing that I do really like about the business that we've done is everything has seemingly been a good deal. Jesus, we probably got him under market value. Zinchenko, we absolutely got him under market value. With Fabio Vieira, it's a little bit more of a question mark. In my opinion, I think we overpaid for him a little bit. But I also think that going into this window, that Martin Odegaard replacement, or Martin Odegaard coverage, I should say, was the most important need that we had outside of striker. I think that a lot of people were calling for a Partey backup, but that's what Elneny is. And yes, we struggled when Partey wasn't in, but Elneny played very well otherwise. So I think people are being harsh, and when I think they sit there and they say that we really needed a party replacement, party coverage, I think that that's missing the position that was needed entering this window. I think we needed an upgrade on Granit Xhaka, or coverage from Martin Odegaard, or a player who can do both. And I think that that's what Fabio Vieira offers, is his coverage from Martin Odegaard, and I think that's very important, because if Martin Odegaard goes down, we have no one who can do the things that he can do until we've signed Fabio Vieira. So the business is looking very, 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 very solid this year. I do think we have one more signing in the bank. I don't think that we'll get another 2 over the line, but I do think we have one more to come through. I'm not sure entirely what it will be. I think it depends a little bit on what happens with that situation regarding sexual assault allegations. It's illegal to mention a player's name, which I think is an absolute awful rule. I'm completely, entirely against that rule. I don't think that these sorts of players should be protected in any way, shape, or form. I think that football is really dropping the ball in this regard, because look at how many sexual assault allegations have come out in just the Premier League alone over the past 12 to 18 months. You have a player at Everton, you have a player at Manchester United, you have a player at Brighton who has now since moved on, and you now have a player at Arsenal who have all been accused of sexual assault allegations, and nothing has come of it. Not a single one of them has seen jail time yet. The Premier League, the FA, they're dropping the ball in this regard. Anyways, we're getting sidetracked. Oleksandr Zinchenko, plenty to be excited about. What do you think he is going to bring to this Arsenal side? Let me know in the comments down below.